Welcome to New Zealand. Before I introduce you to my class, I'd like to introduce you to the area in which I live. Appleby School, where I teach, is at the top of the South Island of New Zealand, surrounded by golden beaches and tall snow-capped mountains. The sea influences a lot of what we do. My classroom is called Motoroa. Motoroa is named after an island near the school. Here is the Motoroa beach. Many parents live in nearby lifestyle blocks. As a school, we enjoy going out exploring our environment. I teach Year 4 at Appleby School. These children are 8, going on 9 years old. As you can see from these aerial shots at Appleby School, we have plenty of playground places for children to grow and learn in. We have a swimming pool, tennis courts, amphitheatre and trees to climb. Being such a small school, Appleby teachers teach everything: swimming, outdoor education, science, social sciences, art, reading, maths, PE, drama, music. Have I said everything? Yes, New Zealand teachers teach everything. Right, let's get started with our week. Appleby School has a school management system, and we start each day by electronically taking the roll. On a Monday, we also go to the library. We return our books and issue new ones. We use Access It at Appleby School to manage our library collection. Because we're such a small school, 2 teachers share the responsibility of buying books and cataloguing them. We have a couple of old eMacs in the library for children to do searching to find their favourite book. Children are their own librarians. They take turns each week to issue the books. Reading is a favourite activity of many of the children at Appleby School, and most of them read very well independently. I am learning to play the ukulele, so when there's a spare minute, we down tools and look at the data projector and we sing. I've been blogging now for 5 years, both myself, my class and my EduBlog. Our blog address is www.motoroa.blogspot.com. Our blog is our centre of all our online learning. We try and put at least 1 post on a week, but sometimes it's 1 a day. We post about things that happen in our classroom, events, happenings around our school. We also use it as a centre for our other links in collaborative projects. Over that time, we've clocked up over 60,000 views on the blog. Most of those are probably ours, going to all those links we've got coming from it. We've also got a cluster map on our blog. This shows where else in the world people are viewing our content. We also have a live cluster map. It's quite fun to see a couple of blobs bleeping at the same time, telling us we've got more than just one viewer. From the sidebar of the blog, we have our spelling. Each child has an individual spelling list based on the various spell right levels. Because of the links on the blog, children can learn their spelling using spellcity.com in an interesting way, rather than the old way of writing the words out lots of times and hoping that they stick. Another feature that can be found on the blog are our links to lots of maths games. They've generally come from our focus class teaching time and allow children to practice the skills we've been learning in our lessons. A popular link from the blog is also our Basic Facts Wiki. I found that children in my class have quite a varied ability to be able to recall basic facts quickly. Parents were interested in helping their children learn their basic facts, so I made this wiki to support them and to support the children. The idea is that from the wiki there are downloadable basic fact sheets for children to test themselves on. The idea is you do one column in 20 seconds. As well, on the wiki there are internet-based web games to support their learning. One great thing about the wiki is, although I set it up myself, I asked my online learning mates to help me add resources to it. If you would like to add a resource, I'd love to hear from you as well. I have another set of links in the blog that's reading activities. Children can use them to read online and again to support their reading in the classroom. We have a delicious account for our blog as well, and children can find specific targeted websites to support their in-class reading. During handwriting lessons, some children get to practice their keyboarding skills on the computers. We have 3 netbooks and 2 emacs for the children to practice with. So that means 5 children can get typing practice at a time. It works quite well, and the children enjoy the variety of being able to use their keyboards. We have a link at the very top of our blog to our Google Apps page. We started off using Google Apps because we had nowhere else to do our writing when we got our new netbooks. But now we're discovering new and exciting ways of using them to share among ourselves and to collaborate on our writing. Children quite often write stories at home that haven't been initiated even at school, and then share them with me through the apps. Also on our homepage, we have our eASTL login. eASTL stands for Electronic Assessment Tools for Teaching and Learning. Thankfully, we have the online version of ASTL because the paper version provides us with a mountain of paper and work to mark. The idea is that children log in to their ASTL page and have access to a test that is written by us, adapted for them. The test takes about half an hour, and then they're given a report sheet outlining to them their strengths, what they have achieved, incorrect, and where their gaps are. So quite a useful test. Highlight for all of us is Wednesday mornings. On Wednesday morning we have discovery time. I was fortunate to go to a conference at Christmas time where the authors, Brenda Martin and Gay Hay, talked about discovery time. For me, it ticks all the boxes about what 21st century learning might be about. For the children, it's a chance for them to take more control over what they do in the classroom. In New Zealand, we have a curriculum based around the key competencies of thinking, using language, symbols and texts, managing self, relating to others, and participating and contributing. Last term, we focused on managing self, school-wide. Managing self for us means completing tasks, persisting, coping with change, coping with failure, being responsible, self-motivated, meeting challenges, making our own plans and choices, setting goals, being organised, being aware of strengths and weaknesses, and taking responsible risks. Discovery time is an opportunity for children to do all of those things. Every week, I set up a menu on the whiteboard of choices that children can have and activities they can do. This changes each week, and children have an input of the things they would like to do. Interestingly enough, children aren't so keen on ICT in this time. Why, I ask them? Because we get to do that all the time. Discovery time is special. In discovery time, it's also a great opportunity to invite parents into the classroom. We use the staff room and we bake things and we make things, and afterwards we eat them. Children have a chance to practice the skills we've learnt in the classroom. Here it's digital photography. My father was a carpenter, so he had lots of old bits of wood and carpentry tools around. I brought them to school, and every week some children had the opportunity to practice carpentry skills. For many, it was the very first time they had touched and used such equipment. There's a risk to this, but children managed it well. No broken fingers, no blood. As well, children were able to take part in lots of activities where they had to work together. I tried to step back and not solve problems for them. They soon got the idea that the teacher isn't going to solve the problems for them. They have to solve them themselves. In discovery time, I'm careful to stand back and observe what children do and not step in, take over, and try and teach. Children need to sort their own problems out for themselves. It's also an opportunity for individuals to learn new skills. Here, one of my students is using my Wacom tablet to learn how to draw. Children can work on individual projects. This team constructed an early American villa. Some kids just like to work together and read together. An opportunity to do this is often missed in a busy classroom. Last year, I won a Lego Robotics Kit. Only the one. It's not something that fits easily into the curriculum on its own. So during discovery time, groups of children were able to work together to create projects with the kit.
How's that kit?
Children get the opportunity to show their creativity in physical ways, with salt dough, painting, 3D construction. The sorts of things get really messy if the whole class does it all at once, but groups can work together. We had a rule that no more than 4 children are able to do an activity at a time. You could leave an activity if you wanted to, or go back to it if you wanted to, but no more than 4. The children thought of this, they worked it out themselves. Discovery time too is an opportunity for children to teach each other. When I had a bit of marbling kit at home that I hadn't used up, I took it to school, showed a couple of kids how to use it, and then those kids became teachers, teaching the other children what to do. We try also to link some of the activities to other parts of the curriculum. In this case, we were studying the rocky shore, so children made a diorama of the animals and plant life you'd find there. We are fortunate at Appleby School to have a parent very talented in the guitar, so during discovery time, small groups go out to practice. As an interesting aside, all of these photos I took to show discovery time were on the blog and nowhere else. Without it, we'd have no archive of what we've been doing in the classroom, and these photos and events would have been lost. Another of the highlights of Motoroa Classroom are the online collaborations we do. Here's an example. We were studying the rocky shore. I tweeted that we were going to. A teacher in Dunedin and a teacher in Auckland were also doing the same thing at the same time. We decided to get together, work together, share our resources, and help our children learn from one another. One of us started a wiki. I think it was me, I'm not sure. And together we put the things that we've done and learnt about and the questions that children asked on the wiki. As teachers, we shared the activities we'd done with our class. Very powerful learning. The class in Auckland made us a photo peach quiz and asked us questions about what they had found at the rocky shore. New Zealand has a unique and very special Māori culture, and I want the children in my class to understand more and be able to speak some Māori language. To do this in a realistic, authentic way, Motoroa class paired up with Miles Webb's class at Melville Intermediate in Hamilton via Skype. His children taught my children how to introduce themselves in Māori.
Can you help me with the friend one? Yeah.
Okay.
My friend's called Grace.
Grace.
Yeah, Grace.
Okay, so you go call Grace.
Call Grace.
Tuku hoa.
Tuku hoia. Hoa.
Learning in this way is very powerful. In some ways it takes the teacher out of the equation, with children teaching each other. Great for both parties involved. The last thing I want to talk about is homework. What week would be complete without homework? I base my homework on the work of Ian Lillico. He suggests that children should be given more choice when doing their homework. We start off with a homework brainstorm on a variety of topics. Say this week, music. We're looking at all the things we could do that could be our music homework for the week. Then we add this to a chart. The chart, or the homework grid, gives children an option to the things that they can be doing. For example, we have homework as part of our homework. Children have to do things around the home that are useful. They might share some of their learning with their parents. They may have to talk. Those empty spaces in the homework grid allow for children's individuality and creativity. They can present their homework in any way they choose, some on charts, some on their Google Docs, some making a model, some talking, some sharing. The idea is that they're not locked into providing an answer to a fill-in-the-gap homework sheet. The level of children's understanding and being able to share their learning is far superior to the fill-in-the-gaps, what's the capital city of Cameroon type homework sheet. Very successful. It has been my pleasure to share some of our classroom practices with you. I hope you've gained some insight into how we work and learn in a small New Zealand school. If you'd like to participate more in our learning journey, please follow along on our classroom blog. Recently I had the opportunity to hear Ewan McIntosh from Scotland speak to teachers here in Nelson, and he spoke about the value of sharing. I like to think that my default setting is to share, and hope that you will be encouraged by the wonderful presentations that follow to do the same. If you'd like to contact me for clarification or collaboration, you can find me on allannahk.edublogs.org. It's been a fun journey making this video. I've learned heaps just by doing it. Cheers.